Well, not only pricey, wait till you hear what it does to your privacy. And to hear critics of the latest immigration reform bill tell it that ain't the half of it, because it's not only stepping up scrutiny of those who shouldn't be here, but it's actually doubling up the scrutiny for those who already legally are here. Dr. Julie Roginski, of course, who's not at all troubled by any of this.
Very troubled by it, actually.
What do you think?
Happy to hear. I don't like it. I don't think it's an onerous demand on businesses. I don't think businesses should be enforcing immigration law. That's up to the INS, and I am completely opposed to it. I think it's a huge violation of privacy.
But I thought you were for immigration reform, that this is the small price you have to pay for it. Just deal.
I'm all for immigration reform, tremendously so. I'm very much against E-Verify.
You are a riddle wrapped in a conundrum.
I'm an enigma,
right.
yes,
Like
Winston Churchill.
Scottie, what say you?
Well, we could be witnessing a real moment in domestic policy. What we have brewing here is the perfect storm. Benghazi, wiretapping of the AP, and the IRS targeting the Tea Party means that a general storm of public distrust for the government is actually growing. And with an 880-page immigration bill that uses E-Verify to, more importantly, go into the security of everybody's individual information, I can guarantee the one thing that people can unite with the AP, the ACLU, and the Tea Party is their actual distrust of Barack Obama and his administration at this point.
But, you know, it's beyond Barack Obama. Peter, one of the things I heard from someone today when I was mentioning some of these scandals, they said, Neil, bring me up to speed what's going on. And so I got off the prompter and I told them a little bit what's going on and just said, you know, everyone seems to be, like, into my stuff. And this immigration that came to mind, because that's even more into your stuff, into small businesses stuff, into all of our stuff, and it's unsettling. It's unsettling a lot of folks.
We see it with the health law. We see it with the immigration proposal that's currently making its way through Congress. This E-Verify is a really troubling provision because basically what it does is it attempts to create a national database of every person who wants to work in the United States. And that's how they check to see if you're legal or not legal, or if you're authorized or not authorized. And then that in turn makes employers agents of the state who have to be people enforcing this stuff for the government. It's a database. You can't do this without a big government database.
But the part of that is you want to make sure that those getting the benefits of being Americans are Americans, right?
Right, but the problem here is that, first of all, E-Verify, where it's been done, has proven to actually be a complete disaster in nailing people who are here illegally. You know, the depressing thing about this is I just refinanced my mortgage, and I had to sign a piece of paper that was a provision of the Patriot Act where they have access to my financial information as part of the Patriot Act. So I hate to break it to people, but we've been sort of subject to these privacy violations going all the way back to 2002, 2001.
I told you to pay in cash.
Yeah, you know, you were going to lend me the money. Why weren't you going to lend me the money? You're supposed to drop that sack off at my house.
Boxes of cash.
Cavuto, you let me down. Yeah.
Actually, you're very right about that. These are some of the new things that are coming into effect, to say nothing.
Old. Yeah.
Well, but there's a lot of stuff that's surprised to come in this immigration thing. I guess, Scottie, where we're going with this, in light of these privacy invasions, charges and otherwise, is that this is all on steroids now, isn't it? It's all out of control.
It's all out of control. And if we really want to cut costs when it comes to immigration, we first need to completely seal the border. Anything that we do before or after is not going to matter until our border is sealed and we have no more influx of illegals coming into this country. Then you want to try E-Verify. I'm not necessarily for it. I think there's other ways. But let's make sure that whatever we do, that we don't continue to infringe on the rights of American citizens as they are today. Whether it be the First Amendment or the Second Amendment right, this government seems to completely try to infringe any chance they get.
Do you think, guys, switching gears a little bit, but a big picture sort of ender on the show here, that basic trust in government has been compromised here? That whoever did this, whoever precipitated, whether the Justice Department or the IRS or the agencies that coordinated talking points post-Benghazi, that it gets back to, hey, these guys, we don't trust them. Peter?
Yeah, I think that E-Verify is a perfect example of why that is the case. You know, you look at the testing of this sort of thing and you look at the estimates of how well it's going to work, and it says, you know, at best it's going to work in 98% of the cases. At worst, it's going to work in 94% of the cases. Well, you look at how many jobs we lost in the recession, about 8 million. We've only gotten back about 6 million of those. So to get back to the 8 million jobs that we lost in the recession, that's 2 million more jobs. What if there are 2% of those, or 6% of those, where people who are legally allowed to work are denied the opportunity to work? Of course we're going to see increased distrust in government.
Scottie, gets worse?
Well, it gets worse, but more importantly, does the Obama administration really care what the American people think in the first place? I mean, at this point, it seems like everything's kind of going like water off a duck's back. Barack Obama could care less, and I think he thinks that the American people aren't that smart because we keep falling for it and we keep holding him accountable
Well, he's even
for these
lost
different
Julie.
scandals.
He's lost you.
On E-Verify, he's lost me.
Yeah.
He lost me in other stuff. But look, since Watergate, people have hated government. It's just nobody trusts government. It's, you know.
You weren't even alive for Watergate.
I was alive.
For God's sake, please.
You're so sweet.
But that's
All
not
right,
how it's
that'll do it here. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thanks.